The realm that is Netflix is one that has all sorts of movies and series going on in it. In fact, despite the quarantine and filming delays hurting many of its main shows and films, Netflix was able to put out a consistent amount of content to keep fans happy. And recently, that included the release of The Kissing Booth 3. This was meant to be the last movie of the saga about the life and loves of Joey King and how her life would be decided. There was a lot going on in that last film, and with a certain ending, many wonder if this is truly the end. So allow us to ask, will there be a Kissing Booth 4? 6. Recapping the series. The ending to Netflix's The Kissing Booth 3 wasn't the best conclusion for the teen rom-com franchise, and a hypothetical The Kissing Booth 4 could fix that. Following the young adult books written by Beth Reekles, the Kissing Booth movie series wrapped up with its third and presumably final film earlier in August. Although the status of another sequel has been up in the air, it's pretty unlikely that the storyline will continue in yet another installment. That being said, a potential fourth film could fix some of the problematic aspects of the third film's divisive ending. Starring Joey King as Elle Evans, the Kissing Booth franchise follows Elle's high school experiences, particularly her friendship with Lee Flynn, Joel Courtney, and relationship with his brother Noah, Jacob Elordi. In The Kissing Booth 3, Elle struggled with her decision between Harvard and Berkeley and feared letting down her best friend or her boyfriend. Elle spent the summer in a tug-of-war as she tried to please everyone close to her, which has been a common theme throughout the movies. She eventually opted to make her own college choice and exhibited some growth by the end of the film, but the ending was still problematic with the suddenness of the time jump and the open-ended status of Elle and Noah's unstable relationship. 5. Elle and Noah. Elle and Noah's relationship suffers throughout the summer in The Kissing Booth 3. Elle's bucket list activities with Lee take up most of her free time, and her decision to hang out with Marco makes Noah feel threatened and neglected. After walking away from a fight with Marco at the beach house, Noah dives off on his motorcycle and disappears. When Elle later finds him at the Hollywood sign, the symbolic place where they first made love, he breaks up with her. Elle's Kissing Booth 2 relationship with Marco contributed to the rift with Noah, as did her busy schedule. But the main reason for the breakup is something else entirely. Noah tells Elle, "I don't want to be one of the people who makes you put yourself last," revealing that he knows Elle has been prioritizing others and is trying to give her a chance to focus on herself. Although the main timeline of The Kissing Booth 3 ends with Elle and Noah having broken up, it is implied that their romance isn't over. In the film's final scene, which takes place 6 years after the central summer, the former lovers run into each other at the charity fair. Noah and Elle make intense eye contact in this scene and can't seem to stop smiling. Noah has graduated from Harvard and is choosing between law firms in New York and LA, which means he might end up living in the same city as Elle again. They make plans to hang out the next time he's in town, and as Noah walks away, both turn to look at each other with tears of emotion welling in their eyes. A soft love song plays in the background, contributing to the romantic air of the scene. It's clear that the pair still have a strong connection. Although their future as a couple is ultimately left ambiguous, The Kissing Booth 3 ends with Elle and Noah going for a motorcycle ride together, showing that their relationship is still the focal point of the series and implying that their relationship has indeed been rekindled. 4. Elle and Lee. Throughout the first and second Kissing Booth movies, Elle and Lee have fought but managed to remain friends, and the same is true in the third film. Elle's college decision hurts Lee's feelings, as does her failure to show up for their final game of Dance Dance Revolution, but the pair's shared history and love for one another allows their friendship to survive the falling out. Elle and Lee have known each other for many years and are bonded by memories, which is a major theme in The Kissing Booth 3. Although rule number 19, you always go to the same school as your bestie, drives the friends apart, another rule brings them back together, which is rule number 18, always be happy for your bestie's successes. Lee eventually accepts Elle's decision to not attend Harvard or Berkeley and celebrates her admission to USC. Furthermore, during her flight with Lee, Elle acknowledges her friend's financial privilege and entitled attitude for the first time in the series, issues that have long come between them. Lee recognizes his character flaws, and Elle also sets aside her pride when she finally admits she got into Berkeley. Their willingness to self-reflect and support each other allows Elle and Lee's friendship to last through college and beyond. 3. Lee and Rachel. The final scene of The Kissing Booth 3 reveals that Lee and Rachel have reunited and are engaged, which is no surprise considering the reasons behind their breakup. Despite their conflicts in The Kissing Booth 2, Rachel and Lee were quite happy together when they broke up. Rachel ended things with Lee because she didn't want a long-distance relationship despite the pair still having feelings for each other. Being single when they went away to school allowed Rachel and Lee to explore themselves and develop separately before deciding if they were right for one another in the long run. The Kissing Booth 3 does not specify exactly how the couple ended up together again, but Rachel tells Lee during their split that maybe if we're meant to be together, we'll find our way back to each other, which ELLE's narration later explains is exactly what happened. 2. Why ending failed. With The Kissing Booth 2's cliffhanger ending functioning as the jumping point for The Kissing Booth 3, one would assume that ELLE's college decision was going to be the central conflict of the threequel. However, that wasn't the case. Instead, the movie kept introducing smaller and unnecessary plot lines that only overcomplicated the storytelling. Furthermore, the tug-and-war between the Flynn boys for ELLE's attention has already been done in the past films, and it need not be repeated again. Had The Kissing Booth 3 stuck with its original premise about ELLE's college choice, perhaps it could have crafted a better ending. As in The Kissing Booth 2, ELLE and Noah once again broke up in the threequel. She had already chosen to go to Harvard to be with her boyfriend, but Noah realized that ELLE only chose Harvard for him, so he decided to split up with her, and this time, their separation lasted for 6 years. When they reunited following the time jump, they needed to catch up with what was going on with each other's lives. What's weird about this is that it's implausible that they'd never kept in touch throughout all those years. For starters, they're essentially part of an extended family. Surely they bumped into each other during holidays and special occasions. If not, both would have heard updates from their relatives about how the other was doing during their breakup. Secondly, and most baffling, is that Noah even talked about still protecting ELLE on the heels of their split. But how could he have done that if he severed all contact with her? Frankly, none of it makes sense, and their motorcycle ending leaves too many questions for a film franchise that's supposed to be over now, right? 1. Kissing Booth 4? If The Kissing Booth 4 happens, the story should redeem the third movie's bad ending by focusing on what happened to ELLE during the time jump. One reason why the ending of The Kissing Booth 3 failed to satisfy is because it skipped past ELLE's college experiences, which was a key storyline for ELLE. It seems strange for the coming-of-age franchise to not include any scenes from such a critical time period for self-discovery and personal growth, especially when the characters suddenly seemed a lot more mature after the time jump. Whether this happens or not is unclear, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to happen if for no other reason than the story deserves it. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at The Kissing Booth 3 and whether there's gonna be a fourth film? Do you feel that given how the third movie ended that there should be a fourth movie in the franchise? Or were you content with how everything ended and feel that people should just be happy for what they got? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.